almost 2 hours I have been waiting.
ସେଇଥିପାଇଁ ମୁଁ ଦାସବାବୁଙ୍କୁ ପଚାରିଲି, ମୁଁ କହିଲି ସାର୍ ଏମିତି ନା ନାଇଁ ମୋଟେ କରନ୍ତୁନି, ଲେଟ୍ ହଉ ପଛେ ମୋଟେ କରନ୍ତୁନି। ଆଉ ସବୁ ମାନେ 7ଟାରେ କନଫର୍ମ କରୁଛନ୍ତି ଯେ ସେ ଏକାଠି
to say something on this occasion.
So, good afternoon to all. So, when we have started our PhD work, research work, we have neglected that portion, but today I know that this is very much important. We have done all the things or making the thesis mechanically. We have just followed some papers and what is the output of that paper. But how we have covered the literature review, how many papers we have thoroughly investigated towards the result of that paper, that we have neglected that. I particularly have also neglected. So today we have the great personality, Dr. Mrityunjay Das, how will handle it for any type of research. So thank you, sir. I welcome you for this session. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. To know more about literature, I would like to request Dr. Mrityunjay Das to come to the dais and present his talks.
When we are very close to the launch session, right? However, the show must go on. There are certain, exigencies and emergencies over which we do not have any control. So let's move ahead. I am extremely thankful to Principal Dr. Prabhat for giving me this opportunity to share my thoughts on a very pertinent theme, that is review of literature and overview and guidelines. What is extremely important about this particular session is, whenever we conduct any research, probably we are quite obsessed with the methodology part. Somehow or other, we collect data, analyze, and conclude with certain suggestions and recommendations. Probably we forget that what exactly is input by our participants and students, and we get back to them. But there are questions very spontaneously we react. Hey, what is that question you have asked? Isn't it? Hello, all? We have all reacted somehow or some point of time. If a student doesn't ask questions in the right way, we react vehemently. That hello, you please repeat what the question all about, isn't it? That means if a student asks about a particular question which you have given a lecture for about 1 hour or more than that, there is the scope of improvement. That means finding a particular research question, framing a particular research question is extremely important, and when it is more important when you are conducting a research. So what is that particular guideline or what is that framework that will help us framing good research questions? That we'll get to know. The third one, to know the art of identifying and filling the research gap. Now, we have come across now, when some of you will be pursuing their PhD or might be there, or some of you are already pursuing PhD, so that will be 6 months review and all. So when we will be facing the review by the team of experts and all, the first question we obviously ask the scholar, that what is your research gap? And interestingly, we find majority of the scholars help. They review the literature, but they couldn't find the gap. So what is that gap and how to find out that gap? And if at all we succeeded in finding the gap, then how are you going to fill the gap? So that critical analysis we will definitely have. To develop strategies for inventing, organizing and drafting a literature review. So you have got a particular topic, you could find out your research questions, research gap, research objectives, and after that, if the time has now come that you should we should give a particular say how to organize the information in a scientific way so that in a very concise and precise way so that it serves the purpose. There are certain do's and don'ts that we shall discuss. To discuss the process of citing sources appropriately. Now, this is very important. Whether you are conducting a doctoral research, whether you are preparing a report analysis, or other you are preparing for a research paper to be submitted in a reference journal, citation is very, very important. And there are different softwares now available, but don't trust the software. It is always advisable that you manually do it, and that is the way that you learn things. So, how to make these references citations, which is approved by APA, American Psychological Association APA format, and that is what the 7th edition is the latest one, if I remember correctly. So that is how we are just touching upon these points that what are the critical issues that enable us to go for the citations in a very scientific way. That's all about the basic objectives of this particular session, right? Next. Please go next. Now see, out of these two definitions, which one you like? Throwing a very spontaneous response, which one you like? The first one we all discussed, and that is well in our mind. But the second one, given by Albert, unfolds the realities of conducting research. He says that research is to see what everybody else has seen and to think what nobody else has thought. That establishes that why at all we take that pains to undertake a particular inquiry and investigation. Because we see that this aspect is not yet studied or not yet caught in the minds of the scholars and researchers, and it has a lot of relevance in contemporary field. So we pick up that. So that probably ignites the mind of the researchers who conduct research. So again, if you look at the email set, you find read.short, which I have already told you that please don't take pain to define the research, rather it's only read short. Right? Next. The literature review, as you know, is a process and an outcome. It is confusing. It is confusing that how the review of literature can be a process, and at the same time it can be an outcome. It can be a process. Yeah, it can be a process. Yes. How? Because you go through, you select a particular topic, and then you scout the different papers pertaining to your area of study, you filter it out, and then you go through in details, try to capture the methodology, try to capture the different hypotheses. Believe me, when it goes to the external examiner, the maximum attention the external examiner draws, your thesis draws the maximum attention is from the review of literature. I will be telling you that we will be talking about the research language, the language of elimination, filtration, everything we will talk, and I wish and I pray God that time permits me to touch upon all those points. We do that again. So coming back to this particular point, that it's a piece of discursive prose. Discursive means what exactly people have taught. 50 papers we have reviewed, but still then the committee is not happy. That means what is the enormous responsibility on the scholars to scout the relevant papers and then find the contradictions or similarity or differences and the scope of filling the gap. So that is quite well imagined. So this is enormous responsibility on all of us. Now the third thing is that it does not intend to list all the material published, but to synthesize and evaluate. Yes, in our area of interest, what's related in this statement. But having said that, I want to emphasize that there are many topics which overwhelmingly we select, but we could not substantially establish the logic of selecting that topic. It happens with each one of us. So it sounds great while you discuss with our peers and our fellow colleagues. We said, you are working on that topic, that sounds great. So, but then when you continue your search, you find probably will not be. We are quite interested for this publication aspect. You see, this is what the train. I couldn't visualize it properly. Yes. Now, physics it is 9%, health sciences is 27%, engineering your branch is 17%, and then your textbooks. We can just think of conducting a class or taking a class with that textbook. We only confine to that 2 textbooks. We don't think what is beyond that. And after the paragraph of reading, we feel so tired and exhausted that we said, hey, let's go. And I've been teaching for over 1 decade or more. So there's no point going through all the details. But unfortunately, if someone has gone through that particular content and he has been troubled by a particular concept which he couldn't find answer and he just throws that question in the entire class, what will be the situation? And you see, this happens particularly in all top end of these schools and other institutions. People really use has a direct impact on productivity. A. B. We also know mechanization has also an impact on productivity. Quality of soil has an impact on the productivity. And we come across several opinions, several models confirming the same thought which we enjoy and subscribe. But starting way straight from soil to fertilizer, abruptly jumping from one point to the another point. What processes were involved, what methods and what were the results and conclusion. Now from why we are moving to the so-called important W5Ws and in fact dear participants and friends, this is going to help us a lot. We are never concerned about those Ws and for that we are paying price. So these Ws are really immensely helpful to us. Where did this research take place? At which organization? And then you go for intervention. And after that intervention, you monitor and what is the outcome out of that. So intervention or indicator being studied. Then suppose for example, I am talking about inflation targeting, right? And monetary transmission mechanism. The impact of monetary transmission mechanism or the impact on inflation targeting. All the indicators will be elaborate. Only the indicator might be the cash reserve ratio. So what I'm trying to tell you, the intervention and your indicator, that is much more important that you have to identify. C. Comparison groups. That what is the comparison group in the population so that a contrast study can be put forward. So it has got a lot of scope of add value. Next is outcome of the interest. Contribution and intervention is applied, contrast group already identified, that intervention is applied to both the contrast groups and you are studying, the scholar is studying what is the outcome in those two contrast groups using software. And it says 10% reduction, 20% reduction, choice is given and you drag the scale. I want 20%, 30%, I feel so happy and straight away copied and pasted it. But you never cross-check it. Does it have any logical connect? Because you have done your maximum extent of reducing the plagiarism in the scale. There is a scale like 30% reduction, 20% reduction, you have done it. Feel happy. Ultimately the report comes that, report means that plagiarism software says that it is 30% reduced. Straight away copy pasted. But have you cross-checked it that is not even there. Forget about the research interest and research language. So where we stand and respecting the so-called paraphrasing software. So that really gives us a feeling that we have worked very hard, struggling between the words, finding the appropriateness, and then say that hey, this is given the justice, and let's go for the best. So that's the intention of giving some glimpses and clues that you have to be careful. That way. Next one, please. Simply contributed in a particular field of research, but while reviewing of the literature, you find a particular aspect was not touched. That is the gap. But how that gap has to be communicated, how you are going to write that gap. Next, if at all you have identified that gap and given reasonable justice in drafting that gap, how are you going to fill the gap? So it's all about identifying the gap and again filling the gap. That is our responsibility. A research gap is defined as a topic or area for which missing or insufficient discourse, and the expression is quite particular and specific. Next. Example. Just go through the example 1. Just go through. Is it, can you just read it? A perspective of all?